How to buy a home out of state without regrets. Are you thinking about buying a home in a state or an area that you don't live in right now? Well, here's how to avoid costly mistakes and still land your dream property. The process of buying from out of state can feel overwhelming, but with the right strategy and support, it can be smoother than you think. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step process of buying a property out of state, from how to research the market, how to choose a realtor, what to ask for, and how to close with confidence, even if you've never set foot inside the home or only make one stop to view it in person. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. I am Odessa Kyleman, your local realtor here in Prescott, Arizona, and welcome to the Prescott Homeowner Channel. On this channel, I help buyers, sellers, and investors make smarter moves with real estate, whether you're local or buying from across the country. So enough about me, let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to cover the key things you need to know before getting started on your journey to buy a home out of state. First, we're going to cover understanding why you're buying out of state. Second, how to choose the right must-haves. Third, building a local team you can trust. Fourth is using virtual tools to your advantage. And lastly, understanding the logistics of a long-distance closing. Step one, so important, is to understand why you're buying out of state. Before you start looking at neighborhoods or scrolling listings, be really clear on your why. Are you locating for work? Are you retiring to a lifestyle destination? Or are you buying a second home you're going to enjoy seasonally? In this video, I'm focusing on relocation, retirement, and second home purchases, because if you're buying for those reasons, you're often going to spend time in the home and you're going to need to balance lifestyle and logistics. If you're buying a home for pure investment and never plan to stay there, that's a different playbook, and I will cover that in a later video. So knowing your why is key, because you need to make sure it actually sets the tone from every other decision, from budget to neighborhood to property style. Don't get caught up in information that has nothing to do with your why. The key is to stay focused on what truly matters. Step two is to choose the right must-haves. Once you know your why, you have to write down your must-haves, and I do mean to write it down digital or paper. It's up to you, but write it down somewhere because it will help you stay focused and help you find the right property. Your must-haves might change, and that's okay, but it should be a conscious decision and not just some place you ended up, because yes, that can happen. Here are some things to consider, including in your must-have list. It's more than bedrooms and bathrooms. Ask yourself, what's the cost of living compared to where you are now? If you're still working, is job growth stable? Do you see opportunity? How have home prices and rent values performed over maybe the past 5 to 10 years? And what's the community vibe? Is it walkable? Is it retiree friendly? Is the outdoor lifestyle important to you? If you have kids, what are the schools like? Do they align with what your kids actually need? I'll use tools like census.gov and bestplaces.net and even niche.com local city websites. Don't just look at the city or state. Drill down to specific zip codes. That is where the real story lies. And by the way, if you find this information valuable, you don't have to take notes. If you drop down to the comments, ask me for a copy of my guide to buying out of state, and I'll get it right over to you. There's actually a link where you can request it. Okay, back to the process. Step three is to build a local team you can trust. When you can't be there in person, your team becomes your eyes, ears, and boots on the ground. You need a realtor who knows the local market and is experienced in working with remote clients. You also need a lender who can handle out-of-state paperwork, a home inspector who's thorough and communicates well, and if you won't be around much, you might even need a property manager. Now, I suggest you start with your realtor and make sure they feel comfortable doing video, and ask them specifically about what they did differently for their last few remote clients. Do they provide video tours? What type of status updates do they provide? And will they be able to provide you resources that you'll need throughout the entire process? Now remember, the pros won't just show you what's great, they'll also point out what's not working. Okay, step four, make sure you use virtual tools to your advantage. So now that you have a team that can use tech, make sure you leverage that technology that they offer to make out-of-state buying easier. You want to make sure you're taking advantage of live video tours where your agent walks you through the property real time, or if you can't do that, pre-recorded walkthroughs with voiceover commentary. You also want to make sure you take advantage of Zoom or FaceTime to talk about about the process. Talk about what you like, what you didn't like, and all the details to make you very comfortable with understanding the purchase contract. And of course, you're going to need to sign documents, digital signings, and remote notaries for your final closing. And if you're purchasing a large plot of land, you also might want to consider drone photography and 3D tours. Now, one thing I have to caution you on when you're buying remotely is to always verify before you send any wire transfers. Wire fraud is a big deal. Always verify your wire instructions over the phone with your title agent before sending funds. Step 5, the logistics of long distance closings. This is important to understand because you're likely going to do a mail away closing where your documents are overnighted to a notary or a lawyer that will meet with you for final signatures. Now, a few tips to make sure this goes smoothly is to make sure that your funds can be sent in remotely through a wire transfer or other means, and remind your title company that you will need to do a remote signing and where you will be so that they'll have time to schedule that notary or help you with a lawyer or power of attorney as needed. And don't forget the time zones. Schedule your walkthroughs and calls accordingly. Clear communication with your agent and lender will help keep everything on track even when you're miles away. So those are the 5 high-level steps or things you need to know about buying a home remotely. Now, if you're ready to get started, I am absolutely happy to be your guide through the process or refer you to a local expert that can help wherever you want to buy. So, question for you, have you ever purchased a home out of state or in a market you've never been to? I'd love to hear your story. Drop me a comment below. And if you're considering buying out of state, schedule a discovery call with me or click the link below for a copy of my Buying Out of State guide that you can print and use to help you make sure you cover each item we discussed. And there's even a few bonus items in there I didn't even mention. So thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell so you know about what is coming next and you hear about it right away. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching. I am Odessa Kyleman with the Prescott Homeowner.